Full disclaimer, it is technically not October in my recording world right now, but when you are watching this, it is October, and I am just getting myself into the October spirit. October is my favorite month. Arguably not my birthday month, which is April, but yeah, I love October so much. So we are ready, and I am ready to get even more ready. Again, I'm wearing a pretty warm sweater that is more of a winter sweater than a summer to fall sweater, and I think this would be good if I was like outside most of the day, but I am heating up, so it might be another video where I have to change out of my morning sweater into a t-shirt or lighter shirt, so FYI there. So as you can tell by the title, I am in need of a major monthly reset, and you know, I do these videos every month focused around like my goal setting and planning and everything, and that's my monthly routine. But this month in particular, I feel like I need a full reset in many different areas of my life, not just with like planning and my goals. Like, definitely need to check in with my goals, but like around my finances and around my health and just like a lot of personal well-being type of things, which kind of align, which align with my yearly goal of just taking care of my body, mind, and soul. And with my power sheets, I need to do my quarterly refresh. I also want to practice self-care today. I'm dubbing today another self-care day where I take things very slow. In my last video, I talked about prioritizing self-care and how I've been going through some things lately. Nothing crazy, but just things that have been weighing me down, and after like sharing those things in that video and actually speaking it out and then deciding to include it and not editing it out, and knowing that I've shared that with you guys made me feel a lot better. And this week I felt a lot lighter since kind of sharing that. It's good to share your feelings, to talk to somebody. I am so thankful to have you guys as a community. I know it's a weird parasocial community, and I try my best to connect with you in the comments and on Instagram and the DMs. Just having you guys on the other end, knowing that I am having somebody listen to my feelings and thoughts and what's happening, and knowing that you are interested and care for what is happening on my end means so much to me. So thank you. Thank you. All right, I kind of did a 360 and put a tank top on, but I was sweating. I am almost getting my period as well, so having a self-care, just restful day is much needed. And I woke up just having this deep urge to reflect and start working on my power sheets. So we're gonna start there. I have my October planning and quarterly refresh, and I just wanna have a nice chill day where I can sit, reflect, dream, plan, drink my coffee, enjoy the fall ambiance, and have you guys come along with it. So I'm gonna hop over to my desk, and then I'll probably come back to the couch to have a more chill session. I'm doing my first kind of break check-in because I've been reflecting and planning and just in my journal, in my power sheets, just kind of doing what feels right. And I did some journaling and made like a mind map, which I always do every month and like seasonally, because it just helps my brain kind of figure out like what areas I want to focus on, but I also journaled on what areas of my life do I want to focus on this month. And I think the three main ones, which I guess, yeah, the three main ones is like health, my finances, and moving prep. So that's more of like a personal goal. And I just kind of mapped out some things under that I want to turn into actual like goals, and then I can break that down into like weekly and daily habits and tasks. But I'm gonna take a break, come back. It's good to take a step away and not try and cram everything in with your planning, especially if you're trying to cultivate a slow, intentional planning routine, which is what I am all about. So I'm gonna finish my coffee and then I will be back later. So I ended up coming back to my planning later that evening, as you can tell by the cozy lighting, and I focused on doing a monthly finance check-in. So I try my best to check in with my finances every week and update my budget app, which is You Need a Budget, or YNAB for short. So I'm trying to update that every week and when I get paid. This past month in particular, I've definitely spent more money in areas of my life that I normally don't spend as much money as I had spent on. So really I just wanted to like audit my spending and create a budgeting plan for October, since I am moving the second week in November, and October is all about packing but also budgeting for our move-in costs. And I've already saved up for the actual deposit of getting into our apartment, but I want to save up money for furnishings that George and I want to split, such as some new furniture and like accessories around the house and little things like that. That evening, I also came up with a self-care routine plan for myself, which is inspired from a blog post from everygirldaily.com, which is called 6 Tips to Help You Transition from Hot Girl Summer to Cozy Girl Fall. Cute title. I'll link the post below. It's really, it was really helpful for me. But something I want to focus on in October is to tend to my wellness, and that would include creating like a self-care routine, particularly on Sunday in my mornings before work and in the evening before bed. So since I have a busy month ahead of me with packing and moving and all that stuff, I want to be intentional about how I spend my time so I don't get wrapped up in the chaos of busyness. And if I can prioritize self-care this month, I'll be able to prevent burnout leading up to moving day, which is very important for me. It's been a few days. It's officially October now, so I can say happy October and actually feel like it is October. So that's exciting. And it has become very chilly and rainy. Like, it's been raining nonstop. I decided to put on the original sweater I was wearing at the beginning of this video because now it's actually cold and I can wear it. So full circle moment. I'll start off by saying I didn't focus on my September goals, or I didn't even show up to my tending list at all. Like the habit tracker, I just kind of threw in the towel on that. I've lost inspiration and motivation to do a few things in September, and I don't know if that's just like the change of seasons, or we're coming at the end of the year, or if it's just an internal thing, but I've kind of just put my goals and like achievement on a lower tier of priorities for myself, and I think that's okay. I mean, we have all these seasons of highs and lows where we feel more achievement oriented and not so much. So wherever you are at in your journey, in your goal setting and planning and things you'd like to get done, it's okay if you're not inspired or motivated to work on them. I am here with you. And I think kind of the biggest thing I've fallen off of is my creative habit of just showing up to my sketchbook every day. August started kind of the decline because I don't know what it was. I just stopped being excited for drawing, which is like funny because we were coming into the fall season and you would think I would be excited to draw all the fall things, and I was like very early on, and then September just, yeah, I was not showing up to my sketchbook. And maybe that has something to do with like shifting my focus to moving and getting ready for that. And I just don't want to have all this stuff. Like subconsciously, I feel like I don't want to have all my eggs in my basket, so to say. I don't want to focus on this and this and this and this. I'm trying to really make moving prep a priority because I know I like to procrastinate and wait until the last minute, and I do not want to do that when it comes to packing, although it'll probably be the last few days before we actually have to move and I'm running around with my head cut off because that's like the only way I get anything done. But I'm trying to be proactive and planning and conserving my energy for packing. But it's a new month, we're resetting, and we have the next 3 months of the year. And as I mentioned earlier in this video, I want to focus on kind of 3 specific areas in my life this month, which is moving. Obviously that's kind of number 1, my health and just wellness, and my finances. So with moving, I want to do something once a week to move the needle on my moving progress, which initially started out with like decluttering and looking for movers and things like that. And now that we're coming down to a month out from moving day, I want to spend every week like large chunks of time packing. So that will be interesting. And in my tending list, there's a section in the weekly action items where I just put weekly moving packing prep progress to kind of just log that progress, that if I do 1 needle moving task each week, then that means I'm kind of, you know, making progress essentially with moving. When it comes to my health, I just want to focus on taking care of myself and again being intentional with how I use my time and preventing burnout, because I know with a big life thing like moving, it can be really hard to do other things like work and hobbies and socializing. So since this is like my favorite month and I want to spend my time being present with fall and autumn and all the spooky things, I also need to take care of myself in the process. So that's just going to mean intentional scheduling and boundary setting around things and social functions. And the other major area is my finances. So I spent a large chunk of time the other day just auditing my spending and coming up with how much money I need to save in addition to the move-in deposit. And I got my numbers, and I also started making a list of like items that I want to budget for to purchase like once we move in or even before we move in, like an area rug for the living room. I need bookcases. Definitely need bookcases for all the books that I've bought over the past 2 years, and like stuff for the bathroom and kitchen. And then there's like lower tier items, like things we don't need to buy right away, but eventually we'll need to buy them. So just trying to like figure out like the costs or potential costs for all these things, and then figuring out how much money I want to save, and then that can be kind of my guiding post for the other areas of my life where I shouldn't be spending as much money. So I have a certain amount of money budgeted for my moving fund, and the action step is just going to have to decrease my spending in other areas like getting takeout and coffee and clothing and books and things like that. And just knowing that I'm moving and I've been wanting this and that there are things we need to buy, that's going to keep me motivated to show up for not spending on things I shouldn't be buying. Okay, so now that we have those top 3 areas of my life out of the way, that means there's one other thing that I need to spend my time on this month, and it's reading, because it is spooky season. It's October. There are so many books that I want to read this month, and going into like making my reading plan for October, I knew it wasn't going to be possible to read all the books, right? I can't read probably more than 7 books this month realistically with my schedule and just life. So I had to sit down and like make a list of all the books I wanted to read and then kind of cut that down. So I have my October TBR, and I never make TBR videos or really create TBRs for myself because I am such a mood reader and I don't want the rigid structure of a list, because if I don't read them all, I feel bad. So why just avoid all of that? But for this month, I definitely have a list because I had to strategize. Otherwise, it'd probably be a mess and then I wouldn't read anything. I think I have it down to 5 to 6 books. And I feel like I probably shared some of these already in previous videos, but this is like a actual comprehensive list of books that I want to read in October. So we have Shadow of Night by Deborah Harkness. I'm almost finished with this, you guys. I am on page 380 and my goal is to finish it this week. So since I want to read like 5 to 6 books, that means I have to at least read a book a week. Like there's only 4 weeks in a month, 4 to 5 weeks. So I really had to step up the plate. So I've been really going hard on reading this book the past few days. So I think I'll be able to finish it. If I could finish this before Friday, that'd be even better because then I can get a leg up on starting my next book that I want to read, which is The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. I have to read this book. It's just kind of a autumn, October tradition starting last year where I read part of the series so I can get through all the books. So we're gonna read another witchy book. A lot of these books are like witchy. And then I was like, do I really want to read all these witchy books? Yes, I do. The next book that I want to read this month is, I have to read it off my screen, The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sangu Mandana. I don't have a physical copy of this book yet, but I will pop it up on the screen here. I want to read this book as part of Morgan Long's Patreon book club, which I am a part of, and I'll link her channel and Patreon down below. But it's kind of like a lighthearted, I don't know if it's romance, I think there's romance in it, a lighthearted, just easygoing book about witches, which I feel like would kind of liven up my TBR for this month because I can't read all these sad witchy things. Not that these books are sad, but they're quite serious. But I think having a like easier romance, lighthearted book to get through will kind of balance what I'm already going into with this month. And the next book is a graphic novel, Pumpkinheads by Faith Erin Hicks, which Amanda let me borrow this copy. Thank you, Amanda. You're the best. And I don't know, I love graphic novels. I don't read them enough. I don't make time to read them, and I don't know why, because they're very like quick and fun to get through. So since we need to beef up our reading this month, I think adding in a graphic novel and just like shorter, quicker, easier to read books will help kind of, you know, move through that goal. The next book that I want to read is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. I guess I'm making my TBR very ambitious by rereading Frankenstein. As I've mentioned in past videos, I've already read this, but it was in high school and it's been a while, and I thought it'd be fun to make a reading vlog where I reread this, and I think I'm gonna read Pumpkinheads along with Frankenstein closer to Halloween, so look out for that video. I think it's gonna be a good one. And then I have like 1 to 2 more books. I guess there's ultimately 7 books on my list, but realistically I know I can't read 7 books, but we can have like a +1 or a +2. The last book that I can probably read from October into November is Hester by Lori Lico Albanese, another book I do not have a physical copy of, but I ordered this from Book of the Month and it should be getting here next week or in like 2 weeks. I'm really excited to read it. It's a historical fiction book, which is kind of a feminist take on The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. I tried to read The Scarlet Letter in high school or like in college and just could not finish it. It was just not my cup of tea, but I understand the importance of it as a classic novel and I someday want to try and read it. But I think this book will be really good. It has some really good reviews and I think it'll satisfy my like need for historical fiction based on witches. All right, my last and like +1 book that I probably won't get to, but it'd be nice to get it read this month, and I think I had it on my like ambitious TBR last year, is The X-Hex by Erin Sterling. I haven't read it and I realized that the sequel of the series came out, which is The Kiss Curse, I think that's what it's called. And honestly, the plot for The Kiss Curse sounded really good and I was like, oh, I want to read that, and then I realized it was like the sequel to The X-Hex, so obviously I have to read The X-Hex before I can read The Kiss Curse, so now I'm just falling even farther behind on that. Maybe we'll have time for that. Maybe time will automatically open up for me this month and I'll be able to read it, but I doubt it. But we can have ambitious TBRs and not read everything on it. That is perfectly normal. All right, friends, so those are all my October TBR books. Let me know what you're going to be reading this month, because I don't need any more recommendations, but I'm just genuinely curious what you guys are reading, or maybe you've read one of these already. I know a lot of you guys have been reading or have already read either the first of this trilogy, or you're on the second one and you're really enjoying this. So I love that we all have the same taste, because I am really loving this book so much. It's very gripping. I can't wait to go read it tonight. Okay, friends, I think that concludes my October goals and TBR for this video, and I'm really excited for October. I just want to emphasize the desire in me to be present this month. I feel like I've said that many times already, but it's just, I'm saying it so I kind of commit it to my heart that I just want to take time to enjoy the little moments and the day-to-day things and find gratitude, because yeah, it's been kind of a rough start to the month. It's been rainy and gloomy, and I got my period and I've just been not feeling my best, but I think I'm coming out of it. There is sunshine forecasted in our area this weekend, and I'm really excited to do lots of fall things and do lots of reading and packing and all of those things. So I just want to say thank you guys for being here, and yeah, you guys are the best. So with that said, I will see you in the next video. Bye.